Ezekiel chapter 11. And the Ruach lifted me up and brought me to the east gate of Adonai's house facing east. Behold, at the door of the gate were 25 men. I saw them among Jaazaniah of Azur, Pelatiah, son of Benaiah, leaders of the people. He said to me, Son of man, these are the men that devise sin and give wicked counsel in this city, who say, This is not the time to build houses. This city is cooking pot, and we are the meat. Is a cooking pot, and we are the meat. Therefore prophesy against them, prophesy, son of man. Then the Ruach Adonai fell upon me, and said to me, Speak. Thus says Adonai, so you are thinking, house of Israel. For I know the thoughts that come into your mind. You have multiplied your slain in the city, and you filled the streets with corpses. Therefore thus says Adonai Elohim, your corpses you have laid in the midst of it. They are the meat, and this city is the cooking pot, but I will bring you out of it. You feared the sword, so I will bring the sword against you. It is a declaration of Adonai Elohim. I will bring you out of the midst of it, give you into the hands of strangers, and execute judgments against you. You will fall by the sword. I will judge you at the border of Israel. So you will know that I am Adonai. This city will not be your cooking pot, nor will you be the meat in the midst of it. I will judge you at Israel's border, so you will know that I am Adonai, whose law you did not follow and whose ordinances you did not obey. Instead, you have acted in accord with the ordinances of the nations around you. As I prophesied, Pelatiah, son of Benaiah, dropped dead. I fell upon my face and cried out with a loud voice and said, Ah, Adonai, are you going to completely eradicate the remnant of Israel? The word of Adonai came to me, saying, Son of man, as for your kinsmen, fellow exiles, and the whole house of Israel, all of them, are those about whom the inhabitants of Jerusalem said, Keep far away from Adonai? This land has been given to us for a possession. Therefore say, Thus says Adonai Elohim, though I remove them far away among the nations, though I scatter them among the countries, yet for a little while I was the sanctuary for them in the countries where they have gone. Heart of stone to heart of flesh. Therefore say, Thus says Adonai Elohim, I will gather you from the peoples and collect you out of the countries where you have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel. When they come there, they will remove all the detestable things and all its abominations. Then I will give them one heart. I will put a new spirit within them. I will remove the heart of stone from their flesh and give them a heart of flesh, so that they may follow my laws, keep my ordinances, and practice them. They will be my people, and I will be their God. As for those whose heart walks after the heart of their detestable things and abominations, I will bring their ways upon their heads. It is a declaration of Adonai Elohim. The glory departs Jerusalem. Then the cherubim lifted up their wings. The wheels were beside them. The glory of God of Israel was over them from above. The glory of Adonai went up from within the city and stood still in the mountain that is to the east of the city. The Ruach lifted me and brought me to the vision by the Ruach Elohim to Chaldea, to the exiles, and the vision that I had seen left me. So I told the exiles all the things that Adonai had shown me. Ezekiel chapter 12, baggage for exile. The word of Adonai came to me, saying, Son of man, you live in the midst of the rebellious house. They have eyes to see, but do not see, ears to hear, but do not hear, for they are a rebellious house. You, son of man, prepare supplies for exile. Go into exile by day in their sight. Go away as if into exile from your home to another place in their sight. Perhaps they will recognize that they are a rebellious house. You will bring out your baggage by day in their sight as baggage for exile. You will go out at evening in their sight like those going into exile. As they watch, dig through the walls and go through it. Bear the burden on your shoulders in their sight. Carry it out in the darkness. Cover your face so that you cannot see the ground. For I have made you a sign for the house of Israel. I did just as I commanded. I brought out my baggage by day as baggage for exile. In the evening, I dug through the wall with my hand. I carried it out into darkness and bore it to my shoulder as they watched. In the morning, the word of Adonai came to me, saying, Son of man, as the house of Israel, the rebellious house, said to you, What are you doing? Say to them, Thus says Adonai Elohim, this burden concerns the prince in Jerusalem and all the house of Israel there. Say, I am a sign for you, just as I have done, so it will be done to them. They will go into exile, into captivity. The prince who is coming, who is among them, will bear a burden on his shoulder and go out into the darkness. They will dig through the wall to get out. He will cover his face so that he cannot see the land with his eyes. I will spread out my net upon him, so he will be caught in my net. I will bring him to Babylon, to the land of the Chaldeans. He will not see it, though he will die there. I will disperse toward every wind, all that surround him, to help him and all his troops. I will draw out the sword after them, so they will know that I am Adonai when I scatter them among the nations and disperse them among the countries. But I will let a few of them escape the sword, the famine, and the pestilence, so that they may tell about all their detestable practices among the nations where they go. And they will know that I am Adonai. The word of Adonai came to me, saying, Son of man, eat your bread with quaking and drink your water with trembling and anxiety. Say to the people of this land, this is what Adonai says concerning the inhabitants of Jerusalem and the land of Israel. They will eat their bread with anxiety and drink their water with horror, because her land will be stripped of all that is in it, because of the violence of all who live there. The inhabited cities will be deserted, and the land will become desolate, and you will know that I am Adonai. The word of Adonai came to me, saying, Son of man, what is that proverb you people have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged and every vision fails? Tell them, therefore, thus says Adonai Elohim, I will put an end to this proverb in Israel. Say to them, the days are at hand, as well as the fulfillment of every vision, for no longer will every vision be deceitful and every oracle false in the house of Israel. For I am Adonai, I will speak whatever word I speak, and it will happen. It will not be delayed any more. For in your days, rebellious house, I will speak the word and perform it. It is a declaration of Adonai. The word of Adonai came to me, saying, Son of man, behold, the house of Israel says, the vision that he sees is for many days from now. He prophesies about times that are far off. Therefore say to them, thus says Adonai Elohim, none of my words will be delayed any more, but the word that I speak will be fulfilled. It is a declaration of Adonai. Ezekiel 13, false prophets. The word of Adonai came to me, saying, Son of man, prophesy concerning the prophets of Israel who are prophesying. Say to those who prophesy out of their own heart, hear the word of Adonai. Thus says Adonai Elohim, woe to the foolish prophets who follow their own spirit, except they have seen nothing. O Israel, your prophets have been like jackals among ruins. You have not gone up into the breaches and repaired the walls for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of Adonai. They have prophesied emptiness and predicted falsely. Who say Adonai says, Adonai has not sent them, yet they hope for confirmation of their word. They do not see empty vision and speak a false omen when you say Adonai says, when I have not spoken. Therefore, thus says Adonai Elohim, because you have spoken falsely and prophesied lies. Therefore, behold, I am against you. It is a declaration of Adonai. My hand will be against the prophets who see false visions and utter lying divinations. They will not remain in the assembly of my people, nor will they be recorded in the register of the house of Israel, nor into the land of Israel. You will know that I am Adonai, precisely because they have led my people astray, saying shalom when there is no shalom. They build a weak wall. Behold, they plaster it over the whitewash. Say to those who plaster it over with whitewash that it will fail. There will be a downpouring rain, and on you great hailstones will fall, and a storm wind will break out. Behold, when the wall has fallen, it will not be said about you, where is the whitewash that you plastered it with. Therefore, thus says Adonai Elohim, I will cause a storm wind to burst out in my fury. There will be a downpouring rain in my anger, and great hailstones in destructive wrath. I will tear down the wall that you have plastered with whitewash and bring it down to the ground, so that the foundation of it is exposed. It will collapse, and you will be consumed within it. You will know that I am Adonai. I will spend my wrath against the wall and against those who plastered it with whitewash. I will say to you, the wall is no more, the whitewashers are no more. The prophets of Israel who prophesy to Jerusalem and see visions of shalom for her. When there is no shalom, it is a declaration of Adonai. Now you, son of man, set your face against the daughters of your people who prophesy out of their own imagination. Prophesy against them, saying, thus says Adonai Elohim, Oi to the women who sew magic charms on all her wrists and make veils of every size for their heads in order to ensnare souls. You hunt down the souls of my people, but preserve yourself. You have profaned me among my people for handfuls of barley and crumbs of bread, to kill those who should not die and to save those who should not live, by lying to my people who listen to lies. Therefore, thus says Adonai Elohim, behold, I am against your magic charms, with which you hunt people like birds. I will tear them from your arms. I will deliver the people you hunt like birds. I will tear off your veils and deliver my people from your hands. They will never again be in your hand to be hunted. So you will know that I am Adonai, because you have discouraged the heart of the righteous with your lies, when I have not grieved him and strengthened into the hands of the wicked, so he may not return from his wicked way and live. Therefore, you will no longer see false visions or utter lying divinations again. I will deliver my people out of your hand. Then you will know that I am Adonai. Ezekiel chapter 14. Some of the elders of Israel came to me and sat before me. The word of Adonai came to me, saying, Son of man, these men have set up idols in their hearts. They have put the stumbling block of their iniquity right before their faces. Should I let them inquire of me at all? Therefore speak to them and say to them, thus says Adonai Elohim, every man from the house of Israel who sets up idols in his heart and puts the stumbling block of his iniquity right before his face, and it comes to the prophet, I, Adonai, will answer him as he comes with a multitude of his idols, so I may take hold of the house of Israel in their hearts, for they have all become estranged from me through their idols. Therefore say to the house of Israel, thus says Adonai Elohim, turn away from your idols, turn your faces from all your abominations. For anyone from the house of Israel, or the outsiders who dwell in Israel, who break himself away from me, takes idols into his heart, puts the stumbling block of his iniquity before his face, and then comes to the prophet to inquire me through him. I, Adonai, will answer him myself. I will set my face against that man. I will make him a sign and a proverb and cut him off from among my people. Then you will know that I am Adonai. When the prophet is deceived and speaks a word, I, Adonai, have deceived that prophet. I will stretch out my hand against him. I will destroy him from among my people, Israel. They will bear their punishment. The punishment of the prophet will be the same as the punishment of the inquirer, so that the house of Israel will not wander again from me or defile themselves again with all their transgressions. They will be my people, and I will be their God. It is a declaration of Adonai. The word of Adonai came to me, saying, Son of man, suppose a land sins against me by trespassing grievously, and I stretch out my hand over it, break off its staff of bread, send famine upon it, and cut it off from man and beast. Even if the 3 men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, be in it, they would only deliver their own souls by their righteousness. It is a declaration of Adonai. If I cause evil beasts to pass through the land, and they ravage it and make a wasteland, so that no one would pass through because of the beasts, then even these 3 men were in it. As I live, says Adonai, they will not deliver sons or daughters. They would only deliver themselves, but the land will be desolate. Or if I bring a sword on that day and say, let the word go through the land, so that I cut off man and beast from it, though these 3 men were in it, as I live, says Adonai, they will not deliver sons or daughters, for they will only deliver themselves. Or suppose I were to send a plague to that land and pour out my fury upon it in blood to cut off man and beast from it. Even if Noah, Daniel, and Job were in it, as I live, says Adonai, they would not deliver either a son or a daughter. They would deliver only themselves by their righteousness. For thus says Adonai, how much more if I send my 4 dreadful judgments against Jerusalem, the sword, the famine, the evil beasts, and the plague, to cut man and beast off from it. Yet behold, survivors would remain in it, who would be brought out, both sons and daughters. Behold, when they come to you, you see their ways and their deeds. You would be comforted concerning the evil that I have brought against Jerusalem. All that I have brought on it, they would comfort you when you see their ways and their deeds. So you will know that I had not done all that I had done without cause. It is a declaration of Adonai. Ezekiel 15, vine wood for the fire. The word of Adonai came to me, saying, Son of man, how can the wood of a vine be better than the branch of any tree that is among the trees of the forest? Can wood be taken from it to make anything useful? Can a peg be made from it to hang anything on? Behold, when it is cast in the fire for fuel, both ends are devoured in fire, and the middle is charred. Is it useful for any work? Look, when it was whole, it was not useful for any work. How much less when the fire has devoured it and it is charred? Will it be useful for any work? Therefore, thus says Adonai Elohim, like the vine's wood among the trees of the forest, that I have given to the fire for fuel, so I will give up the inhabitants of Jerusalem. I will set my face against them. Even if they come out of the fire will yet devour them. So you will know that I am Adonai. When I set my face against them, I will make the land desolate, because they have acted so faithlessly. It is a declaration of Adonai.